everyone's going to go silent now.
No, we won't.
Oh, good! Okay.
Where's Evie's bag? Evie, where's your bag?
What?
Yeah, I have one too. It's in my bag.
Give me 3 words to describe Blackpool. Okay?
Please do me first. I don't know how many words.
Dodgy. Seagulls.
Yeah.
Oh. And the beach.
Okay, what?
We
Too bad.
Down south.
London. I'm Tilly London.
Where are you from?
Poshy. Honestly.
It's busy. Very colourful.
You've already messed up.
Shut down. Not busy. And salty.
Salty.
Tower. And Pier. That is so descriptive.
I don't love that. Are you proud of me?
I am actually.
One thing that I genuinely just want to know is like the kind of origin story of you guys and what you do.
So basically, it all started last October when Deborah was hosting a group for young women where we came here and we worked on projects about feminism, about women's rights, and just about everything like that. And she said, why don't we expand the group and make it into something more? So she went to a few schools and spoke to a few brilliant people, everyone here, and we ended up making this group. And then we went to Scotland together and we all got really close, and I'd say that these are some of my favourite people. Scotland was so nice. Carry on. I know, I love Scotland. It was really, really nice. Yeah, oh, she was beautiful. Do you remember when you burnt my neck when you were trying to kill my hair?
Have you seen Little Women, the film?
Yeah, it was like that.
Do you remember when you first became conscious of your own activism?
I don't really know. I mean, I've always been like a really loud person. Obviously, I can't stop talking. I'm one of those people, you always gotta hear what's on my mind. So I don't really know when I came, like, you know, the person I am today. And I don't really know when I started like speaking about everything. But no, like ever since I was little, if somebody said something I didn't like it, and they'd know that. It's really different here from what it is in London. Like, there's some values here, like it's less diverse down here. And I know that sounds like a bit rude. And there's more people, so more people speak out about it. So like a lot more people actually get what they want there. That's the problem. Like there's not enough people down here speaking about it for us to get what we need. I think that's a big problem.
So I was born in Blackpool, and it's a very youthful place, despite the fact that it's sort of like peaked, you know, in like the 50s. You can start to feel like you're not extremely welcome there, but if you look around, there's a women's organisation, and they recently did a protest, like a peaceful like street protest down in Blackpool about women feeling safe on the streets, and it took place right after the riots linking with Southport. Nowadays, social action for young women is less about changing how they're changing like laws and changing like regulations, and it's more about changing how they're treated socially. But socially, there's still a difference because young women in schools or young women just in general, they feel like they're not heard and their voices can't get out, and they don't have the opportunity to make change that they want to make. That's what I think is great about this group.
We all have like specific projects that we were working on. So we've got happiness, this woman can, innovation, green
and
rainbow.
It's like about making STEM more accessible for women in like workplaces and making sure it's equal and making sure it's not like male dominated.
With girls and women, it's like showing them like that they can go in like the STEM route if that's what they want to do, and they don't and like it's not something they should put in like off like on the mind just because they're a girl.
Basically, it's just pride. So it's
Okay.
like pride for
Youth pride and everything.
Yeah, and just raising concept, raising awareness on that.
Blackpool seems like a pride
proud place. Like I'm noticing so many flags.
We were all on the team happiness, and it was focused in activities for women being accessible, and mental health, and like
Buses.
yeah, it was all about like safety as well.
We mainly focused on like the stereotyping of what genders should be to do with what sports, and like primary school, like the what's it called, the curriculum of like boys do this, girls do this. And then
I think it does stem from in schools, like even from primary school, like the set curriculums, everyone's joined together, and then as soon as you get to high school, I think a lot of it, I don't know if it is the sexualisation of girls and boys playing together and why it's not allowed, or the aggression of boys, which is stupid, because some boys, like say, do enjoy gymnastics and dance, and then some girls enjoy more aggressive sports. So I think it's bad that you're brought up thinking that that's the way it is.
Because I think a lot of the problem is people not knowing, and I say that a lot. I say the problem is people don't understand what we have to go through because they're not told and they're not taught about it, and that's like the main thing for me.
Because I'd always known that I was like more on like the left wing side of things, but I never got into like the details of it and how I could actually be involved with it. I would just express my opinion to like to my friends and my parents. But being in a social action group where there are young women around your age who want to make a difference, and you also want to make a difference with them, it shows how you're not the only one alone in your little town, you know, and there are people out there, even if you wouldn't have known them beforehand.
Like what would be the main important things to you in terms of social change in this town right now for women? Did you want to say something?
I think maybe just how safe the streets are when it's, especially when it's dark, and like more street lights and just making it feel a bit more comfortable walking out.
Me, Evan, Els and Jenna, we had a really big conversation about this last week because we were on a meeting about how people do not trust the police at all. So if something does happen, they can't ring the police, they can't say anything about it, especially in things like, you know, sexual assault, because most of the time it's dragged on and it's forgotten over big things because it's seen as minor when it's not really minor.
I feel like it's a very generational thing, especially for boys. Like the dads were brought up a certain way, so they teach like you've got to be a manly man, you've got to do this sort of thing. It's so like drilled into them that this is the way you've got to act and this is the way you've got to be.
And it's interesting because like you think of like implementing things at school, but if they go home to friends,
like when they're children, if they're educated, like so like when they're older, they know not to like speak to women a certain way.
Biggest thing for me, and just like letting people know and changing people's minds. I think the biggest thing about activism is changing people's mindsets, because I think that is a big problem.
And how do you think we can do that?
Honestly, I think me and my friends, we think that targeting like younger people would be a really good start, because obviously the younger people, they don't have the developed mindsets as some people do, so it's easy to change their opinions and get them to think the right thing. For example, like I know that older people, it's harder to change their minds because they know they're allowed to have their own opinion and their mind has already been so heavily set on what they think. It's easier to target the younger people because they're still learning, so they can learn what's wrong from right.
Very true.
Another thing, I also have a thing about class differences and how people are treated depending on that, because being from, you know, the northwest, it can be a bit different. I had this teacher who, whenever she did speeches, she put on a southern accent, so she felt like she would be taken more seriously. Like, I feel like there's a massive difference between that, and I really want to do more work on that, but I do want to talk about, you know, the difference between class treatment, especially in women. It
That's the whole point of it.
One big experience.
100%. You can't look at it separately.
I tried to write this really easy. It's just the third word. Yeah, it's just the third word.
If you were ever to leave this place, would you come back?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yes. But a lot of the words at the start, you were like salty, dodgy.
I think it's, even though people have like a bad opinion on it, it's still the place where we all grew up.
Yeah, it's home.
Because we live here, like we've seen the alleyways of Blackpool, but like if we came back here and you just went to like the Pleasure Beach or you went to the Pier, even though the Piers are kind of.
I wouldn't come on holiday here.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I would come on holiday
Yeah,
here,
but like because we live here that we don't like it.
One person at a time. One person at a time. You were saying something.
It's also where your family and friends are, and like where they are, that's also where your home is to some people. So at the end of the day, it's like the people you love are there, and they're like the people that matter the most.
So you think like the place is defined by its people?
Yeah.
I feel like if I was to leave, I would feel safer somewhere else. I'd be reluctant to come back because, like, if you were like gonna move away to like bring a family up or something, you'd want the safest place for you and your children. So I just feel like it's not the safest place to be.
Like I was never allowed to play out when I was younger just because of where we lived. So like my mum and dad got a caravan so we could get out of Blackpool just so it is like a safer place to grow up. Because I feel like, especially like I live near the town centre and it's not the best place and you see dodgy people.
Yeah. So you see yourself leaving?
Yeah.
There is like lots of good things as well that I feel like people overlook. Like we have got loads of opportunities and we've got lots of things to do here, and like we've got like a coastline which not many places have.
There's two very different sides, but it's just the way you look at it in your perspective, really.
Okay. What's it like coming of age here for you?
Yeah. Scary. But yeah, that's the only word I can describe it.
Recently, it's made me realise that growing up in an area where women may not be heard as loudly as they would in other places is furthered my passion for social action more, because I know that it's my area that's being affected, and I know that I want to change that because it's my area that I live in, and I want to live in a better place, and I want young women in the future and young people in general in the future to live in a better place. You know, I feel like it shapes me as a person who wants change, not for the hate of their town, but for what I want my town to be and what I want other people to live in.
Amazing!
I was going to say there should be more youth groups like this, because think about how many girls are not here. So with males as well, because think about how much we've bonded, and if there's a guy group like this, think about how many more like guys would be more like, I don't know, nicer, is that the word to say?
10 years time.
A lot of cats.
I'm not a cat.
I want to be a political journalist.
Okay,
Do like more. So there's a lot of censorship on war, especially in like newspapers and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'd really like to have my own newspaper where I can like share the truth about things that I've learnt about.
I had such a plan when I was leaving school. I was like, oh yeah, I'll go to college, I'll go to uni. I wanted to become a lawyer, and then I went to college, absolutely hated it, and now I work full time.
And then you figure it out and change it.
Expanding the group.
We had a sleepover.
A big gossip sleepover, movie night.
Yeah, and I want to teach more women on STEM. I want to teach more women to be more empowered.
I want the change.
The truth.
Any other words of wisdom?
Just do it. Yeah,
So
just
look
do
at us,
it.
we're here. If we can do it, so can you.
5 lives.
I'd say be yourself.
I'm not going to be bad at because, but like,
How many?
I want more white.
Flexing.
A lot of hand gestures from you, like a lot